Recording. Okay, so far we discussed about the objectives of the Indian Constitution. Okay, what are they? What are the objectives there? So if we studied here, first of all, the first function, right? The first function of the Constitution, it's provide a set of basic rules that allow for minimal coordination among the members of the society. Okay, and the second function of the Constitution is to specify, 1 minute. Okay, the second function of the Constitution is to specify who has the power to make decisions in the society. It decides how the government will be constituted, completed that. And the third function also we discussed here. So the third function of the Constitution is to set some limits on what the government can impose on its citizen. These limits are fundamental in the sense of government may never trespass them. Okay, the government should not create any problem for the fundamental rights of the people. There is no right for the government to trespass the fundamental rights. Okay, next one, we know that there are a number of aspirations are there for the government, for the people. So it is the responsibility of the government to fulfill such kind of aspirations. So in the Constitution we are able to see some provisions that are directing the government to do something for the people or creating a welfare society. And finally we read a cartoon here related with Jana Gana Mana and Vande Mataram, the dispute. Okay, later the government of India, they adopted the Jana Gana Mana or Jana Gana Mana as the national anthem of India in the year 1950. Okay, so Constitution may enshrin the aspiration of a society here. So we discussed the framers of the Indian Constitution, for example, thought that each individual in the society should have all that is necessary for them to lead a life that is minimal dignity of the social self-respect, minimum material well-being. So they need a minimum respect or dignity in the society and minimum material well-being, education. So the Constitution is giving importance for the development of the people and instructing the government to do something for the welfare of the country or the people. Okay, next one, provision has the support of the preamble to our Constitution, and these provisions are found in the section of fundamental rights. Okay, the directive principles of state policy also enjoin government to fulfill certain aspiration of the people. So fundamental rights, we know that what are the fundamental rights, no government should trespass that, and we know the directive principles that the Constitution giving direction to the government to function. Okay, so as per that the government want to act in the society, so it's a part of the Constitution termed as the directive principles. Okay, and the fundamental rights that relate with the rights of the people. Okay, now we are moving to the fourth function of the the Constitution. The fourth function of the Constitution is to enable the government to fulfill the aspiration of a society and create condition for a just society. What want to do? Fulfill the aspirations or desires of the society and create condition for a just society. Okay. Just society in the sense a society they're following equality, liberty and justice Okay, so we are going to read a small box here, enabling provisions of the Constitution. So constitutions are not only rules and regulations controlling the powers of the government. Okay, so want to understand, Constitution or constitutions are not just rules and regulations, okay, that controlling the powers of the government. They also give powers to the government for pursuing collective good for the society. So the Constitution not only controlling the powers of the government, the same time it is giving some special powers to the Constitution, okay, to do something good for the society. Okay, so two constitutions we are discussing here. The Constitution of South Africa assigns many responsibilities to the government. So the Constitution of South Africa that says to the government to do something. Okay, what are that? Many responsibilities are there for the government as per the Constitution. What are they? It wants the government to take measures to promote conservation of nature. Okay, protecting the nature. Okay, making efforts to protect persons or groups subject to unfair discrimination. So want to make rules and regulations to protect the people, those who face the problem of discrimination under the British rule. Okay, next one. And provide that the government must progressively ensure adequate housing to all, healthcare, etc. And at the same time, other responsibility, the government wanted to provide housing, education, healthcare for the people in the society. Okay, so that's what the Constitution of South Africa says. Next one, in the case of Indonesia also, the government is enjoined to establish and conduct a national educational system. So the Constitution giving the responsibility to the government that they have to maintain the education system. The Indonesian Constitution ensured that the poor and the destitute children will be looked after by the government. Okay, the poor children and the destitute children, orphans, and there is no wealth for them, such kind of children also wanted to take care by the government. Clear or not? So India also we are facing the same situation, right or not? So who is the guardian of a kid below the age of 15? What is your answer? Who's the guardian of a kid? Those who?
Parents.
The parents, right? Clear or not? But we know that, okay. But as per the Constitution, not only the parent, it is the government too. Clear or not? Clear or not? Okay, the guardian of the kid below the age of 15, it is not only the parents but the government also. Clear or not? So a kid is facing problem, it is the responsibility of the government to look after, or government to solve such kind of issues, right or not? The government also responsible for the security. Understand? Okay, so the government is considering as the guardian. Okay, so might we heard about a number of POXO cases. Okay, so if the parents are not ready to give the complaint, the government themselves will take the case. Clear? That's what, because they are also considering as the parents. I mean the guardian. Okay, not the parent but the guardian. Use the term guardian, not the parent, right? So what does it take? So here a caricature. What does it take to write nice things in the Constitution? What is the point in writing down lofty aspirations and goals if they cannot change the life of the people? Okay, so we are able to find that only good things will be able to find in the Constitution, it seems there. Okay, only the things that are able to develop the society. Okay, so what is the point of writing down lofty aspirations and goals if they cannot change the life of the people? So we are discussing about the aspirations and desires that are able to make changes in the society. Okay, but at the same time we know that most of the governments are not fulfill such kind of aspiration and goals there. Then why we are writing so? The question is there, right? Yes or no? So the Constitution says that the government wanted to complete or wanted to do something or create something for the welfare of the society anyway. Okay, so that's what. So the Constitution is not only restricting the government but enabling the government or giving some responsibility to the government to complete. Okay, or assignments are there. So fundamental identity of a people. Okay, so finally and perhaps even most importantly, a Constitution expresses the fundamental identity of a people. Here, of a people in the sense a particular society, right or not? So Indian Constitution for Indians. Clear? So if you are reading the Indian Constitution, we know that it's a cut and paste Constitution, right? So we adopted a number of rules and regulations or values from different other constitutions and cut that area from that constitution and pasted in our constitution, right? Clear? So that's what we are reading in the preamble. What is that? We the people of India having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, right? Clear? So all these values are there. We are adopting that because in the past we faced a problem in this context. Okay, sovereignty. There is no power for Indians to control the country. Clear or not? So we give stress to that word. What is that? Sovereignty. We want sovereignty. We don't want to lay under the rule of any other country. So sovereignty. Okay, sovereign. Secularism. Okay, we witness a number of problems in the time of national movement between Hindus and Muslims, riots, religious troubles, communal violences. We met that, we witnessed that. So we used the second term. What is that? Secularism. We need a secular government, a secular state where all religions are important. Okay, so secular. Okay, sovereign, secular, democratic. We don't want a monarchical type of rule. Okay, we studied about the French Revolution, we studied about the Russian Revolution. Okay, we studied about number of such revolutions. Basically, the people revolted to create a democratic type of government, nation states. Okay, so we want that kind of government. So we added that term also, democratic. Okay, sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic. The next one, republic. Okay, we need a constitution, right or not? Need a constitution. The government should not interfere in the freedom of the people, clear or not? Like the monarchy. So we need a constitution. So we need a republican type of government. Okay, so constitution is there. It is under the guardianship of the president of the country. So we created a constitution like that. And at the same time, we are able to find a number of other words like equality, liberty, justice. Clear or not? That words also in the constitution. So we faced the problems related with those values. So we added all those things in the constitution. So we can see all these words in the preamble there. Finally, and perhaps even most importantly, a constitution express the fundamental identity of a people. This means that people as a collective entity come into being only through a basic constitution. We know that India is an example for what kind of federation? A holding together federation, where the central government is holding all other states and bind that under the control of the central government. Clear or not? But no state governments are inferior or the subordinate of the central government. That also want to keep it in your mind. Clear or not? So what connecting all these states together, what linking the people together, that is the constitution. The provisions in the constitution that bind the people together there basically. So we know that we are belonging to different geographical regions. Right? Different languages are there, different culture we are following, different racial groups, right? But only one national anthem, only one national flag, only one constitution, and only one central government. Okay, so that connecting the people. Okay, clear or not? So because of the constitution, we are connected. It is by agreeing the basic set of norms about how one should be governed. So in the constitution, we are able to find it's a set of rules and regulations. Basically, in that we are able to find how a country is governed. Okay, or how the or what kind of administration is necessary. So, and who should be governed, that one form a collective identity. One has many sets of identities that exist prior to the constitution. So before the constitution, we know that there are different groups of people are there, their interests are different. Okay, there are, what we can say, variations are there, treatments are different, privileges are different. Okay, but after the constitution, we know that it is termed as the rule of the law. All are equal before law. So constitution ensuring that right to everyone, equality. Okay, so it is agreeing to certain basic norms and principles constitutes one's basic political identity. Second, constitutional norms are the overarching framework within which one pursues individual aspirations, goals and freedom. The constitution sets authoritative constraints upon what one may or may not do. It defines the fundamental values that we may not trespass. So the constitution also gives a moral identity. Third and finally, it may be the case that many basic political and moral values are now shared across different constitutional traditions. Okay, nothing but. So this area is something complicated to understand, right? Understood something? So here, again I will explain here. So, first of all, it is by agreeing to basic set of norms about how one should be governed. Clear? So constitution is a basic set of norms, rules and regulations that says how one should be governed. Okay, and who should be governed, that one forms a collective identity. So the people under the government or people coming under the administration of the single government, that people is considering as a collective identity, the people with a collective identity. Okay, so they are believing the same constitution, same government, so sharing the collective identity, they are one. Okay, next one has many sets of identities that exist prior to the constitution. So I already told you that before the constitution we belong to different groups, different religions, different castes, but after the constitution all are coming under the power of the constitution, all are equal before the law. Clear? So that's it. Okay, next here continuation. But by agreeing to certain basic norms and principles, one constitutes one's basic political identity. So we are agreeing the basic rules and regulations, I mean norms and principles in the constitution, means we are agreeing to live under that constitution or under that government by accepting that constitution and accepting that political identity. Okay, because we are governed by a single government, a single constitution. So, single political identity. Secondly, constitutional norms are the overarching framework within which one pursues individual aspirations, goals and freedom. So, almost we are able to find that in a constitution, we are able to find the norms and procedures to achieve individual aspirations, goals and freedom for individuals. Okay, the constitution sets authoritative constraints upon what one may or may not do. So the constitution will create some restrictions for each and every individual, those who believes in that constitution or coming under the control of that constitution. Constraints are there, restrictions are there. We studied that while we studying the chapter liberty, right or not? So the constitution says what to do and what not to do, right? Restrictions are there. We are free. Okay, this time we termed as a positive liberty. Positive freedom is there under the constitution, but not negative freedom. No negative freedom. So constitution creating some hindrances or barricades, or blockades for the ultimate liberty for the individuals. Clear or not? We are unable to enjoy almost all the things there, but some restrictions are there. Okay, liberty with the constraints. That is the second point of a constitution. Right? Clear or not? Liberty with the constraints. So constitution says what to do and what not to do. Right? Clear or not? Some rights are there, we are able to do that. At the same time, some things we cannot do also. Clear or not? Okay. So we are able to drive the vehicle on the road, but the constitution not guaranteeing or not permitting for rash driving. Right or not? Rash driving in the sense we are creating problem for the other drivers on the road. That's what rash driving. Right or not? Speedy driving. Okay. Clear. So constitution giving powers to us to ride the vehicle on the road. Normal condition, we can do that. Okay, but when we are making trouble to the others or the society, the constitution never agree that. Clear? Okay, that's it. For example, next one, it defines the fundamental values that we may not trespass. Okay, so constitution giving meaning for the fundamental rights. It is applicable for everyone, and no individual should trespass the rights of other individual. Clear or not? For example, right to expression. Right? I already told. We are able to, that's a right, fundamental right. What is that? Right to expression. We can express our freedom. That is our freedom. Right or not? Right to expression. Coming under a right to freedom. Right or not? We are able to express. Okay, so we can speak whatever we want. Okay, we can criticize the government. We can criticize any individual who is the part of the government. Clear or not? No problem, because we are not insulting or we are not criticizing a person, but a man or a part of the part of the executive. Now, there is no personal one, but we are criticizing against the government. Clear or not? So we are criticizing the Prime Minister, means we are not criticizing the person called Narendra Modi. Clear or not? We are criticizing the Home Minister, which doesn't mean that we are criticizing Amit Shah. Right? The particular person who bear the post. We are criticizing the post of that particular, what we can say, the minister, not that individual, individual, right? We cannot do that. We cannot do that. So I have told that it is called with the right to freedom, right to expression. Okay. So you are hiring some speakers and a mic setter and standing in the bus stand. I already told you that, right? And speaking ill about others means, what is that? Is that it is considering as a fundamental right? Other persons also have the same right? They also will react like that. So it is not good. So constitution is prohibiting such kind of trespass. We are unable to make problem for others' fundamental right. Okay, clear? Okay, so fundamental values that we may not trespass. So the constitution also gives one a moral identity. So political identity is there. Next one is moral identity, morality. So we should not create problem for others. Third and finally, it may be the case that many basic political and moral values are now shared across different constitutional traditions. Okay, so these moral and political values today shared across different constitutional traditions. We are sharing all this political identity and the moral values today. Clear or not? Today, the world of globalization, liberalization. Okay, so sharing of ideas are there. All right. Okay, now we can read a cartoon here. So just observe and tell me what is mentioned in that cartoon. What is that? Anyone is able to say?
This scene from when they were about to draft the constitution. There were different types of groups, and they were arguing each other with their own opinions.
Okay, fine. So I said it's almost correct there. But I already told you that for understanding this kind of things, a broad reading is necessary. Broad reading is necessary. You are small kids, and the sense I can say that the secondary school students. Okay, so limitations are there. Okay, let me explain that. I will explain all the stories behind this. Okay, so it's related with the Iraqi constitution. Clear? So Iraq, once it was under the control of a dictator called Saddam Hussein, right? And Saddam Hussein was captured and killed by the American military. Clear or not? Okay, so Saddam Hussein is a notorious, we can say a notorious, okay, dictator in Iraq, the capital of Iraq, that is Baghdad. Clear? Baghdad. And in Iraq there is a problem. What is that? Different sects of Muslims are there. Different groups. They are the Kurds, Sunnis and Shias. Okay, Kurds, Sunnis and Shias. Muslims only, but different sects they are. Sects. Okay. Group within one group. Clear on? That's called to be a sect. Okay, caste system in India. Alright? Clear. So, and they're deciding here, you can see, if you're observing clearly, you can see this person is sitting with an American flag, right? So cartoon reading is not that easy. Clear or not? Yes or no? It's not that easy. So here this person, now that they have agreed to join hands, we expect a constitution very soon. So America, that they defeated Saddam Hussein, and they're declaring that now the people are free, they are ready to create a constitution for them. They escaped from the hands of the clutches of the dictator. Now they can write the constitution, it seems. But under background, what is going on here? All these sects are fighting. So Shia says that we got the paper, so let us write the constitution. Okay, Sunni says that okay, we have got the pen, so let us write the constitution. And Kur says that the ink with us. Okay, so we are the people those who are going to write the constitution. So trouble is there in that country, in that countries. Okay, so if what do you think that if they are writing a constitution, rules will be there, right or not? All regulation will be there that's able to satisfy the aspiration of all these three groups of people. If it is not so, if the constitution is supporting the Shias and Sunnis, the Kurds will fight against them, right? Yes or no? Definitely. So that's what going on in Iraq. Still they are facing this problem. The fight between Sunnis and Shias and Kurds is there, clear. And America in the country, they created this basic ethnic problem in that country called Iraq. Okay, let it. If one looks at the constitution around the world, they differ in many respects. In the form of government, they enjoin in many procedural details, but they also share a good deal. Most modern constitutions create a form of government that is democratic in some respects. So today we are able to see that number of countries today, they are following the constitutions, they have their own constitution, and almost all these constitutions are, or modern constitutions are supporting democratic governments. And most claim to protect against, protect certain basic rights, and almost all these constitutions are protecting basic rights of the people. Okay, but constitutions are different in the way they embed conceptions of national identity. Okay, but almost all the constitutions are different that giving, or that is in the case of national identity and the concept of national identity. Most nations are an amalgamation of complex set of historical tradition, amalgamation, a mix of, a culmination of a complex set of historical traditions. They weave together the diverse groups that reside within the nation in different ways. Okay, so we can say that almost all the countries today is a mix of different types of people with a different language, different religion, different culture, different ethnicity, different races. Almost all the countries are like that. Today, we are unable to say that one country with a single ethnic composition. Any countries are there? The single ethnic composition? Nothing is there. No countries are there. It is very difficult to find out. Okay, some dictatorial countries are there, example, but we are not counting them. Okay, anyway, so democratic countries, basically almost all the countries are a combination of different types of people. For example, German identity was constituted by being ethnically German. The constitution gave expression to this identity. The Indian constitution, on the other hand, does not make ethnic identity a criterion for citizenship. So Germany giving a chance to all the Germans as the citizen of that country, clear or not? So here German identity was constituted by being ethnically German, German ethnicity, clear or not? The German people, the Aryan race, clear. So they are giving chances for only that people to become the citizen of that country. Okay, but coming to India, what is that? The Indian constitution, on the other hand, does not make ethnic identity. Okay, so we are not thinking about any ethnic identity here. Or ethnic identity is not a criterion for a citizenship. Okay, so we know that in India, different races are there. Aryans are there, Dravidians are there, Mangaloids are there, Anglo-Indians are there. I already told you people, right? Negroids are there. So different types of people are there in our country. So government cannot take a decision related with the citizenship on the ground of ethnic composition, okay, or ethnicity. So we are giving chances for everyone there. So different nations embody different concepts of what the relationship between the different regions of a nation and the central government should be. The relationship constitutes the national identity of a country. So we know that the different countries are giving different or creating different terms for the relationship between the states and the central government. Some countries following the holding together federation, the same time some other following the coming together federation setup. Okay, related with the history of the country, we can say that they are taking different stance there. So America is an example for a coming together federation. Clear or not? Why they came together? Almost all those states came together to create a single country, but different constitutions and one federal constitution. That's what Americans set up, right? All states have their own constitution. The same time the central constitution or the federal constitution also is there. Clear or not? Okay. But coming to India, Okay, here it is holding together federation, holding together federation. So central government is holding all the states together to create the federation. So history is proving that politics of the past times created this kind of relationship between the center and the state. So American states came together to agitate or protest against or become powerful against their enemies, right or not? So India holded all these, or Indian federal government or the central government holding the power of or holding the other states due to protest against the Britishers, the British people before independence, and later to unite against external threats or to create a single country, right or not? Or else it is we can say that India not achieved the goal there. Okay, so how we fight it against the Britishers related with the grounds of unity, all people united. Okay, when Britishers give the independence to India, they made a comment, within 20 to 50 years this country will disintegrate. Okay, it will collapse. Okay, democracy will collapse in this country. That's what the comment made by the British government, but not happened so. Okay, that is because of the power of the central government to hold all other states. So we know that before 1757 there is no country called India existed, right? Or before 1947? No. Oh, okay. So what I used here, 1 year I used. What is that? 1757. What is the importance of this year? 1857. What is the importance of this year? 1947. What is the importance of this year? Any idea? The Indian history?
First struggle for independence.
Okay. The first year of Indian independence, 1847. All those called as the Sepoy Mutiny. Okay, agreed. What is 1757? Battle of? No idea. Okay. After this battle in the year 1757, the British started controlling almost all the parts of India. Find out which battle is that. 1757. Okay. Then the first war of independence in the year 1857. And we got independence in the year 1947. So in between 190 years are there, right? We were under the control of the British. Clear or not? So the Britishers, they united the country, I can say so, because before that there are a number of princely states under the control of different dynasties or different princes, clear or not? But the Britishers defeated them one by one and they united and they created the country called India, right or not? Okay, at the time of independence, there is more than 400 such kind of princely states are there. We know that the small Kerala, that also divided into 3 countries. Clear or not? 3 countries, not states. Okay, clear. 3 countries under the control of 3 different kings: Cochin, Malabar, and Tiruvidampur. Okay, Travancore kings, the Cochin kings, and the Malabar, Calicut, Samarins. Clear or not? Malayalam will say Samu Tiri. Okay, clear or not? Okay, there is a newspaper also was this called Komadi. Cochin, Malabar, Tiruvidampur. Okay, at that time. Okay, so this small Kerala that divided into 3 different states or 3 different countries that. So think about the total entire India divided into more than 500 princely states, and the British government or British people, they united that and gave independence for the country. Okay, clear or not? So the relationship of the central government and state governments are different in different countries related with the past of that particular country. Clear? Okay, and it's a homework here for you. Next homework. So check your progress. So far we read number of things there, understand number of things here. Okay, fill this. Okay, clear? So I will read that. Check your progress. Here are some provisions of the Indian and the other constitutions. For each of these, write the function of the provision forms there. So there are, we discussed so far 4 functions of the government, right? The constitution. 4 functions of the constitution. So you want to write. Okay, first of all, the government cannot order any citizen to follow or not to follow any religion. So it is the limitation of the power of the government, right? Right? Correct. The government must try to reduce inequalities in income and wealth. Okay, no need to say now, write it. The president has the power to appoint the prime minister. Right, what is that? The constitution is the supreme law of that everyone has to obey. Write that. The Indian citizenship is not limited to people of any race, caste or religion. Write it. Clear? Clear? So read it, understand it. Okay. So political science is a subject. Basically we want to understand the basics. Clear or not? So basics in the sense nothing problematic, nothing create any trouble here. Okay. So it is discussing about some concepts. Okay. How a constitution should be, how the government should be, how the people should be, and the negative aspect of these things. That only, nothing more than that. Okay, so you read it, understand it, okay, and so complete the homework and submit it. I told you that is a Saturday, that's the date for submission. Number of homeworks are there from economics and political science. Just to complete that. If any doubts are there, means just text me. Okay guys, thank you very much. Thank you very much. We'll meet in the next class.